It's time for today's face-off on Fox Soul. Challengers Quan LX and Big Angry Adams ready to go blow by blow on those hot topics. Face-off on Fox Soul starts right now.
Go ahead and get my outfit together. I think I'm gonna go eat me some red lobster. I ain't never been arrested. Never went to jail in my life. Never. Why? Because I don't do anything illegal. I want to send this message out to all of the fathers. This is not man versus woman. Make sure I say that. Take all that off the table. What I love right now is that from all of the interviews that I've been doing, all of the women who are probably always going to see things through the lens of a woman, feminist, women's group, you know, it's like, I don't care if the woman is wrong. I don't care what she doing, what she asking for, what she trying to get in alimony, trying to crack the prenup, trying to get this for child support. I don't give a how wrong she is. Most women are always going to see things through the lens of women. So I feel like we're in a real place right now where I could not be more proud of the women that have been vocal and outspoken about all of this goof that my ex is doing.
In this round, here's Quan LX.
Charles, we just watched a video of a very well-known and successful black actor, Brother Tyrese. And Brother Tyrese Gibson was speaking about his potential arrest and upcoming arrest at that time he was making a video, because they're saying he's behind $73,000 in child support payments. And it is sad, extremely sad, to see any brother go to jail, any male or female go to jail for unpaid child support. There are circumstances and situations where mothers really do need the financial support to help their children. But what breaks me in this is that a mother should always take into account the psychological damage that it does to the child when you decide to put that child's father in jail because that child's father is behind in child support. Now, if this is a man that's not attempting to be active in a child's life, if this is a man that's not involved and properly engaged in a child's life, if this is a man that is not there giving any type of emotional support to the child, that's a different discussion. But we have fathers, and I believe that Tyrese is probably one of those fathers, that spend time with their children as much as they're allowed to spend. They invest emotionally into their children. They participate in any type of extracurricular activities and events to be there in support of them. If the father is doing that, I would hope and pray that the mother would take all of that into account than just a check that the father's behind in. I'm gonna tell you a truthful story, brother. I've witnessed mothers in court say, I don't care how much time he spent with the child, I want my money, I want my check. I've witnessed fathers who take their kids to school every day and to help the mother pick them up in the evening, but get behind in child support, and that mother will still put that man in jail, and that's the same man that takes that kid to school in the morning and picks him up in the evening. We gotta stop making this an issue about child support, whether we put people in jail like that. It should be on a case-by-case basis, but to just make it so easy to put the man in jail, look, what good does it do if he's in jail and can't pay you? If he couldn't pay you before he went to jail, then he's in jail, hell, he still can't pay you, and then the emotional damage and trauma that it does to the child, I think parents should think about that.
Well, what is it that you'd have the court do? Let's say, like in this case, he was ordered to pay $10,000 a month. There's an allegation he was only paying $2,200 a month, and the court had clearly ordered him to pay, and he was not paying. He didn't seem to contest that perception at all. So, what would you have the court do other than arrest when you have a parent, father or mother, who has the financial wherewithal? I mean, there is a matrix. They figure it out. It's It is based on a formula to determine what income there is, what they would owe. So let's assume they did everything right, and he was making a decision not to pay. What would you have the court do to him if not put him in jail?
Now, what I would do is have him come back in with his attorney and make sure the man has counsel and ask the man, this is what the court mandated that you pay per month. Why is it you're only paying this amount and not paying what you've been commanded to pay or demanded to pay by the court, all right? Then let that person explain, my financial status is the same, I chose not to, or my financial status has changed, I'm not getting paid or making the amount of money that I used to, that's why I'm only paying this, what I can afford to pay, but I can't afford what I was once asked to pay back then because my money has changed now. But Charles, the problem is a lot of these states and courts and counties are getting service fees of processing those child support payments and making millions and millions of dollars in these interest payments. No. You got child support payments that are shot through the roof for interest payments, and all of the interest, when it's finally paid, is not paid to the mother. Where's that money going, Charles?
Okay, again, you have no basis for that horrible indictment of the court involved, and I'm a huge Tyrese fan.
So you telling me all the interest is going to these parents?
No. What I'm
so where the hell
you
that money going, Charles?
What you're suggesting
millions
is
of dollars.
The court did this in a mercenary maneuver, and you're also suggesting it was their first solution.
It's the state that backs the court that's doing it.
I will tell you, from practicing law for over 2 decades, is the reality is that when fathers or mothers are ultimately jailed for failing to pay child support, it is after a great number of hearings and a great number of chances and a great number of efforts.
Not in Texas.
Absolutely in
That's
Texas.
an absolute lie.
No, you're lying.
I want the people to chime in. I want the fathers to chime in and prove this man is a lie. I've seen men in Texas who were ordered to pay child support, and 10 years later they find out that the kid is not theirs. They go to the court and show the judge documented scientific evidence, this child is not mine, and the court say to that man, you gotta keep paying. Don't tell me this damn system is not corrupt.
You want to explain why? Okay, in that situation,
that's corrupt as hell.
You have, especially when you're the presumed father, right? You're on the birth certificate or you're the husband. You only have X number of years statutorily. It's the family code to contest parentage, and if you do it later, you've already missed the window. And the reason
and so the court don't make you continue paying for a child that's not yours.
But that's
don't tell me that damn court system ain't corrupt.
That's not about the court system. It's about the legislature. That's how
I said it's the
work.
state that backs up the courts.
But the courts and the legislators are two different things.
No, they're not.
And what
the
a judge
state
has to do,
and the court is one and the same. For the court represents the state.
What a judge has to do is they have to follow the law. There are plenty of dumb, stupid, corrupt judges that don't, but there are plenty of great judges that do. And in your scenario, right, if the father failed to appropriately challenge his parentage within the window of time allowed, which
there shouldn't be no window of time.
Okay.
There shouldn't be no window of time. And you want to hear this one? Guess what? That same court and that same state, when it comes out that the child is not the man's, they don't make the mother pay back the money that he paid.
Okay, but here's
that state and that court does not make that mother pay back the money that man paid for a child that was not his.
None of that applies to Tyrese. Tyrese had a lawful order.
No, you want to talk about the corruption of the court.
He failed to follow the order, and he got himself arrested.
I would like to know why.
What else could the judge for not paying? He went to jail for not paying.
I think there's more to this story than just that.
Of course you do.
I think there's more here.
I think it's like kind of odd that like a guy like me has to come out from doing what I do on a daily basis to have fun, because I see what's going on in these streets, and I see you guys just sitting up there in them comfy chairs and suits, and I'm getting out here every day and I'm broadcasting this, and you guys are just sitting up there in suits or something. Like, I really challenge you guys to get out here and do something. These Haitians are running into trash cans. They're running into buildings. They're running into, they flipping cars in the middle of the street. And I don't know how, like, y'all can be comfortable with this. Like, I don't know, like, who's getting paid from it. I honestly feel like someone's getting paid from it in the background. You got a bunch of people on a bus getting dropped off at a gas station to come down here. I know a single mom that FaceTimed me this morning at the welfare office that really need something. And nothing but immigrants over there. And I don't even want to like seem like I'm coming down on the immigrants, because it's the people that's bringing them down here, because wherever they're at, that's what they're used to, bro. They're in the park grabbing up ducks by their neck and cutting their head off and walking off with them and eating them. Like, y'all get the Highway State Patrol down here every week, and then y'all get like a task force for the Highway State Patrol, and they look for guns and they look for dope and this and that and the fourth. That same people that y'all got riding up and down Limestone doing U-turns, pulling people over for blinkers and pulling people over for like going left to center and like a couple miles over, like y'all can take them same people, the Highway State Patrol, and you can take them in every single one of their silver Chargers and Dodge Durangos, and y'all can take them to Sunset, and y'all can park them right over there.
In this round, here's Charles Big Angry Adams.
All right, that was an African-American male citizen of Springfield, Ohio, explaining to the city council, the mayor, what's going on in that city, which they're well aware, right? There was a video floating out there of Kamala Harris justifying putting so many Haitian immigrants into a city of Springfield, Ohio, a city that was about 60,000 in population, that they gave, that they sent 20,000 Haitian immigrants, unvetted, fleeing the war-torn, horrible conditions of that country, and then just plopped them down in one town. Why they would do that, I have no idea. But what the impact on that city has been severe. It wasn't just his testimony. I assume Fox Soul picked his because he's an African-American and this is an African-American oriented station. But there was a woman talking about people living in her yard, talking about how she had tried to compromise with the Haitians and they just kept being more and more aggressive, and she's terrified living in her home. There was a woman arrested for killing in the act. She had killed someone's pet cat and was eating it, right? There's video of a man walking around with a goose with the head chopped off. Of course, we're also seeing journalism stories that are saying, oh, it's racist to complain about Haitian immigrants eating birds, right? Because you eat chicken. No, it's not about eating a goose. It's about going to a park and killing a goose that's not there to be killed to eat. It's about killing people's pets and treating pets like food. But more importantly, it's about telling American cities, hey, you should just deal with it. And when you have people of all races, of all colors, of all socioeconomic status saying, this is destroying our quality of life, and you have an apathetic local government and an apathetic state government and an apathetic federal government who all think of ways to justify it. And we're not just seeing it in Springfield, Ohio, although that's getting all the attention right now. We're seeing it across this country where we have public schools being overwhelmed. We have social services being overwhelmed. We have everything being overwhelmed by this open border policy that is endangering the lives of working class Americans of color.
But Charles, one thing you didn't say was also something that the brother in the video did not say. There is a deeper conspiracy behind why they have opened the door in the last 6 years like they never have before.
Not the last 6 years.
No. It started under the Trump administration.
No, it didn't.
When he was seeking re-election, yes.
He got the lowest immigration in decades.
Listen to me. When he started seeking re-election, some within the administration started saying, let's appear to be not strong and strident on the border issue as we once were in the beginning when he was first running.
Absolutely not true.
And then under the Biden-Harris administration, they just opened the floodgates. But why did the Biden-Harris administration do it that way? Because they knew, according to the polls, that the young generation of African Americans were no longer inclined to be dedicated and committed to the Democratic Party. Okay. That they were more independent thinkers. They were more politically conscious than ever before because of social media and the internet. And so what they wanted to do, they saw the disappearing numbers of African American votes. They need to replace the black votes that they're losing now by the millions. And what they have done is bring all the immigrants in, give them free health care, give them financial assistance, give them food stamps, give them a place to live, and help them find a job, all at the taxpayers' expense. So the millions that will come in, they will teach future generations of that particular group that we owe our existence in the land of the free to the Democratic Party, and they started voting Democrats. And that's why you have governors now in these states that with high immigrant populations and mayors trying to find expedient ways to quickly get those immigrants the right to vote in local elections. This is no accident. This is by design. So the same people that we've given our love and loyalty to, in the Democratic Party are the ones who did this on purpose.
Well, it's weird because talking to you, Cornell, which I've been doing for 7
And let
or
me
8
tell you
years,
something else.
You used to have,
the Haitians that's eating the ducks, if you got somebody starving to death, they hungry as hell in a foreign land, they can't eat, and here come a fat duck rolling down the lake. You're going to grab that neck and you're going to pluck them feathers.
Well, but possibly you should consider the fact that we're giving more financial support to immigrants than we are starving Americans.
This
and
is
starving
true.
Americans aren't doing it. But what's crazy to me is for years you were an open border zealot, right?
I said Mexicans coming from Mexico, going to California, Arizona, Texas, which was stole from them. I didn't say every damn body.
Okay. So just Mexicans, right? But the whole thing is it's ridiculous. We need to stop having policies that are changing communities, taking away safety, taking away culture, taking away lives. It's absolutely absurd.
In today's Face Off, Up.
On Tuesday, September 3rd, I was getting ready to leave my house and I noticed my dog, which is our family dog of 13 years, laying out by my truck, sunbathing in the grass, in the kind of a gravel area in my driveway. I thought it was cute, so I snapped a picture, not knowing that that would actually be the last picture I've ever taken of him or I've ever seen him alive ever again. I went into Denton, ran a couple errands, did a couple jobs, and then I came back to the house. Didn't notice right away that he was gone. And, you know, I live out in the country, so we have 8 acres, and joining up to a couple of neighbors that have 12 and 14 and 20 acres. So it's not unusual for Gunner to walk around to the neighbor's house or go out to the barn. When I came back is when I noticed that it was time to feed the dogs. So I went ahead and started calling for him, and he's always there to rush for chow time, and this time he didn't, and it had me a little nervous. So I texted my wife to check on Nextdoor app to see if anybody has said anything about Gunner, and nobody has at that time. So I jumped in my vehicle, drove around for several hours until roughly about midnight to 1 o'clock in the morning, just more or less scared and nervous, thinking he's not in a safe place, he needs to be home, I don't know where he's at. So I made a post on Facebook and I made a post on Nextdoor saying my dog is not here.
You know, Cornell, the story actually gets worse. He located it at the Denton Animal Services. His wife reached out. For some reason, they're closed on Wednesdays. You know, the government don't like to do real work. And they called him back on Thursday and said, hey, we have Gunner. Come pick him up. He went down there that day, euthanized him, killed the dog. And the story was that from Animal Services, the dog couldn't walk without assistance. That seems to be contradicted by his description of the dog's life, and had no control over his bowels or bladder. So you have a dog that is in an unfamiliar setting, that is used to being able to run free on acres of land, that for whatever reason was picked up by animal control and used the bathroom in his kennel, probably because he's scared, and they just put him down. And they put him down after talking to the owner and telling the owner when he could come pick him up, who then went at that time to go pick him up. And I'll tell you, it's in Texas, Denton, Texas, up there in that plastic world of Dallas, but it's north, it's north of Dallas. And I will tell you, the state law in Texas, where I'm a licensed attorney, is the dog's value in litigation would just be the replacement cost. It's treated like chattel. It's treated like just an object, a thing. It is not treated like the impact killing someone's animal on purpose actually has on a family or a person who loves that animal very much. I think it's absolutely disgusting. Denton Animal Services, you are most certainly our face-off F-up of the day, and you ought to be damn ashamed of yourselves.
You know, Charles, we are in a nation that we just watched a horrible mass shooting of our young people being murdered in school, another mass murder, mass shooter. Right there in the Dallas area, we just watched a young high school football player finish playing a football game and go to a local store right after the game and was murdered at the store. Right there in Dallas, we have young people in the Denton area who are going hungry, starving to death, living in broken homes, parents dying of fentanyl overdoses, and we sitting here talking about a man's dog being put to sleep. Look, I'm a dog lover too. I'm sorry your dog died, but why in the hell are we giving a man's dog this much damn attention? Does a dog really deserve this much attention?
Yes.
And the dog was laying out front,
Absolutely,
quote unquote, sunbathing. You think I can damn about Fido outside sunbathing when we got people starving to death? We got people that can't pay their mortgage. We got people that's sitting in jail with $1 million bonds for simple possession of marijuana charges. We got people right now in rural Texas towns. Yes, they do.
We are not putting
in
$1
these
million
rural
bonds
Texas
on
towns.
murderers
Yes,
anymore.
In rural Texas towns,
kill someone in Texas, you're gonna
in rural Texas towns, yes, Charles. We got all this human suffering, and we worried about if Fido was put to sleep. It was wrong what they did, but he don't deserve this kind of attention.
You don't think Den's Animal Services caused that family
yes,
suffering?
but he don't deserve this kind of attention.
Okay, so on your laundry list of things, we've got
Fido at the very damn bottom if you make the list at all.
Okay, it's not about Fido. It's about the owner of this dog and that family who had their adored pet that they loved killed by
we got teenagers and children dying right here in Texas, and they can't get no media attention.
You know what? You can be outraged
They can't get
that.
no media attention.
Maybe
but we gonna give Fido some airtime.
Maybe if you showed up at the meetings,
some airtime.
You could have picked the topic.
We gonna give
we want to pick
Poochie
this.
some airtime.
Hey, I'm sorry you weren't at the meeting, right? But here we go.
Send us your Chihuahua stories.
Fire everybody at Denton Animal Services.
Send us your Shih Tzu stories also.
Fire them all.
That's his story. He crying about Fido.
I ain't crying, but it's heartbreaking.
That's it for the Face Off on Fox Soul. We'll catch you next time.